I've been running through this smoke now on the Interceptor for 50 kilometres, and like it's bushfire season here in Australia, and something you got to take for granted. It comes each year, and that's the way it is. But this is the first time I've actually experienced it out here on the motorcycle. Now back over yonder, there's the old Interceptor sitting over there, favourite spot. I usually park there on several occasions so far since I've had the bike and a few of the other bikes, and there's plenty of smoke about in all directions, so it's around here somewhere. Well, it's pretty bad out here today too. Yeah, so I ran the bike in from scratch, easy. So on the first 160 kilometres or 100 mile in the old scale, I took it easy and used only up to a maximum of 3,000 revs, or up to 50 mile an hour. So, and gave it quite a few heat cycles. So, you know, I only went out and did 15 kilometre, 20 kilometre runs, come back, give it several hours to cool down. And that's what happened in that first 150 kilometres. From 150 to 500 kilometres, I ran it up to 4,000 revs. And that increased me top end speed up to 60 mile an hour, 100 kilometres an hour. And once I got to the 500k mark, I did the oil and filter change, valve check, adjusted the valves, and after I did the 500 job, from 500 to 1,000, I did increase rev range up to 6,000 revs, and up to around about 700 kilometres I was running to 5,000 revs, and then lately I've been revving it out close to 5.5 or through the gears like that, so it's improving well in that area there too. So overall the bike's running pretty sweet in that area. I did switch to a different oil to try, a brand called Silcoline, which was fairly expensive to purchase here in Australia, to roughly $140 for 4 litres. I tried that oil, and so far I've put up like 600 kilometres on the bike with that oil. I don't know if I could say I've noticed any great improvement using it or not. I'll probably know a little bit better by the time I get to 3,000 kilometres, but at this stage I'm not in the position where I could say, yeah, I'd run in and buy it again, because I haven't got to the stage where I could actually say, yeah, I've noticed a big increase or improvement in all areas. So it hasn't got to that stage, so I wouldn't say. I'd say there's a very good chance I'll swing back to Penrite on my next oil change and compare both items, and I think the Penrite would probably be close on half the price. So that's the one I think I will swing back and try, so that'll be something to look forward to for me, because I've been on Penrite with all my motorbikes for the last 7 years, and I just thought I'd try this Silcoline. I had a few problems with the bike, well, not major problems, but I did have a problem with gear changing, and first thing I did, I reported in the early part of the 500 kilometre run, and I dropped the gear change from the shifter itself from 31 centimetres down to 29.5, because I was getting false neutrals when I got to change from 5th to 6th gear, only on the up changes, never on the down. So that eliminated quite a few of the false neutrals, but even when I dropped to the newer oil, I still picked up false neutrals. So my next move after that was to do a free play adjustment in the clutch, and since I've done that one, at this stage in the last 150 kilometres I haven't managed to get any false neutrals. So whether it's a bit early to test on that one for sure, I don't know, but I'll look into that one and we'll see what happens there. So that'll be something we'll look into. You know, it may be just a fluke, or it may have improved it, or you know, we'll see what happens. The overall bike itself runs well. I've never had any problems with the bike as far as coming out, kicking it over, warming it up and going for a run. It performs well, starts well, rides well. I've been out on a few longer rides, taken it on 100 kilometre runs, and when I do a 100 kilometre run I do a 50 kilometre burst, pull over, give it 10-15 minutes rest like now, and then carry on again. So I haven't actually been out on a straight out 400 kilometre run, and the main reason, one, because it's got low kilometres, and two, even out here today it's probably 31, 32 degrees, so it's pretty warm. And you know, like, I have noticed that this is the first day I've been out where there's been no wind. Like, nearly every day I've been on this bike, been very windy, so it's been a bit of a problem blowing this bike around, and I'd get off the bike and it'd smell a bit warmer on one side of the bike. And I once put a thermal thermometer on it, and I noticed a 10-degree difference in heat when I brought the bike back from one side of the head to the other when I did a check on the motor. But then I took it out, just rode it around town where it wasn't getting out into the heavy wind of 30 or 40 kilometres an hour, and then I brought it back and then noticed the cylinder head heat temperature was normal, so you know, everything was good in that line. So I was a little bit concerned at that stage, but it turned out to be riding in like high winds. But in this area we rarely have wind, so you know, like high winds 30, 40 kilometres day after day, and that went on for a week. So you know, if you're not used to those conditions, well, it's something you don't get to experience, and we go from there. So but overall, you know, the bike itself has been a really good bike so far. Like compared to, you know, I did have a ravishing red Interceptor early on in the year. In case you're not used to the channel, you haven't been here or unaware of it, it was a pretty good bike, apart from that incident that I've recorded earlier I had in the gas tank. If you ask me, is this a better bike than the red one I had? Very hard to say. I think maybe the red one may have ran a little bit better than this bike, apart from the incident I had with the gas cap. So something that, you know, that was a few months ago, but I did find that when I rode that first original Interceptor, that was a very good bike, and it's just hard to say whether I'd class this one. I wouldn't class it better than it. It's somewhere between equal or maybe a bit under that in performance wise, but you know, that was a bike I went from the start and got on the bike and took it out and didn't do any running on it, and just give it a bit of a workout all the way from scratch to 300 kilometres, where this bike I was a lot more gentle on. So you know, it might be all in the mind, and the other one I give it more of a workout, and it might be a case of I give it a performance run and I'm thinking it's a lot quicker than this one. But apart from that, I think this one here is quite a nice bike. Looks the part, and it runs well, handles well, got really nice brakes on it now. I was really impressed with the brakes on the first Interceptor. This was a bit more, not spongy, but a little bit dead when I first got it. Now that I've used it quite a few times, they got a fair bit of bite on the brakes now, so the brakes are good. Like I said, the gear change now on the way out's pretty good too. So I think that clutch adjustment's done wonders there. Doesn't jerk or jump forward when I put it into gear or anything like that, so that's good. Never checked fuel economy, so I'm not sure exactly how that goes, what it's getting to the gallon. I'm on a motorbike, I don't seem to sort of worry too much about it. I've been in cars where I worry about how much petrol I'm going to eat, but you know, they've been high performance cars and they really drink gas, but a motorcycle doesn't drink that much petrol. So, you know, my opinion is, if you're worried about how much petrol a motorcycle drinks, buy yourself a push bike. But that'd be the best way out of that one, because, you know, I've owned cars which really know how to drink petrol. So, and you pay the price, but a motorbike, totally different thing. Anyway, apart from that, the fueling on the bike is really rock steady. I've never had any jerkiness in the throttle or anything like that. It's you know, nice smooth throttle response all the way through. Tyres appear really nice. They've never let me down this way, even when I've been riding on the a lot of the roads around here. They've thrown a bit of loose surface gravel on them now, and you can you know, I've been a bit concerned at times to go on some of the bikes, and because they move around a bit. This one's pretty stable, or planted on on the road surface. You can see a lot of crap on the side of this road here now when you're going along. And back up along the road, it was like that all the way along. The exhaust note's pretty good. The stock standard, even though I've got those other ones to go on there as soon as I work out how to get the adapter plate to work. Never, I was going to say I never had it out at night, but I had it out last night a little bit later, but I never had a chance to test the headlights. It was virtually still light by the time I got home. But overall, if anyone was out here looking for a bike and looking at an Interceptor and thinking to themselves, would they be better off with an Interceptor or better off with a classic 500 and save yourself $1,000? I think if you're going to get out there and do a little bit of touring and later on go out and do 100 and 200 kilometre runs, I think really for peace of mind, you'd be very silly if you didn't go and buy an Interceptor, because you know, the classic's got good lines and a bit of a nostalgia look and things like that, but if you want something that wants to go out and you want to do a bit of a run, this Interceptor I think is the bike that you can go out and run 100, 200 kilometres and get back on it, not look around to see what comes loose or what has to be adjusted. I haven't adjusted really anything on this, and I think that's what you've got to look at if you want to do that sort of thing. Don't get me wrong, the other classic 500s are really classic looking bikes and they look the part, but with this one there's virtually no vibration. There is a bit of a buzz in the handlebars up around that, you know, 4,000 revs as you cruise along, but the thing is nothing to worry. You don't get off. You could either, although you should, you know, if you would come out and you're not wearing gloves, you don't get off with buzzing hands or anything like that. You can handle it quite well. So, you know, if you look at all these sort of things when you get on the bike, it is really a nice bike to ride for the $10,000 ride-away price, or well, $10,200 or $500 cheaper if you don't want to pay $500 for the chrome. And you know, some people think $500 extra is a fair bit for that chrome tank, and I'd agree with them too. It's not worth $500, but the fact is, you either want the chrome tank or you don't. So you haven't really got much choice. So you know, I wanted a chrome tank from the first off, and the only reason I wanted chrome because I thought it looked more period style 70s, and that's why I decided I'd go chrome. And in C5s I've already had a couple of black chromes and a maroon chrome and a graphite chrome. So I've had a few chromes, like I'm sort of lured to chromes. So as far as that goes, well, it's you know, if you like chrome bikes, well, that's the way it goes. But yeah, so overall, I hope you find this mini review interesting. So like I said, if I thought it was a bit of a crap bike, I'd most likely tell you now stay away from them. But my opinion at the moment is, you know, like everything's going well with this bike. If you're interested in buying one of them, or at least thinking about one, jump on one at or head down to the nearest Royal Enfield dealer and jump on one to see if you can get a test ride on one. Or if you've got your mind up about an Enfield and you think, you've heard about them and they're not as good, or they're unreliable, or they're slow, or they break down, or any of those things, or they're full of vibration, still go down to the Enfield dealer and take one of these for a run, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, because I can honestly say to you, they are a lot better bike than what you think. And either that, or I wouldn't, you know, I would probably say to you, I think I might cash this one and go for something else now, because, you know, like, if you look at this bike compared to the first Interceptor I had with the tank problem, I've now ridden this one triple the distance, so this is the furthest I've ridden an Enfield lately for the last 2 or 3 years, because I've usually bought them, had problems with them and moved them out and bought another one, where this one here is now running well. I haven't had to touch anything with it to tighten anything, like go down, tighten any nuts, bolts, anything like that, apart from when I did the tappet adjustment. So, you know, it's been really good. If you like fiddling with bikes, you're probably going to be disappointed, because this might not be the bike you're going to be fiddling with much. You might just be getting on and riding it, riding the bike, and that's about it. So, but if you like that idea, you can get on. Which, in the beginning, you sort of like the idea of fiddling with bikes, but you don't like fiddling with them when you get out along to a place like this and you go over to kick them over, and all of a sudden you press that button, they don't want to start, or your check engine light comes on, or you have problems like that. And I think this bike here at this stage is more ultra reliable, so if you just keep that in mind, I would suggest, if you're looking at one of them, head down to the Enfield dealer, check one out, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. And I think the next review I'll do on this bike, it'll probably be at 3,000 k's. So once again, thanks for tuning in and taking a look.